You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging with you guys, and good morning. Today's podcast topic, what I wanted to share and cover with you guys for just a little while here, is giving you guys the lay of the land with all of the content that we put out to help you guys grow and start a successful lawn and landscaping business. The reason for this podcast is we actually had a couple of coaching calls about 2 weeks ago. This is a topic that's been on my mind for a little bit. And, basically after about a 1 hour private coaching call, maybe about 10, 15 minutes into it, usually getting to know the individual a little bit more. And then we kind of go back and forth, a little, Q&A sesh is, hey, how did you hear about our content? And quite often people say, hey, watched on YouTube for a while. Then, as the business got bigger and life got more complex, obviously I follow along on the podcast now, but I check on the YouTube channel once in a while. And then a lot of times we get people saying, hey, I found you organically on the podcast, went into the iTunes search bar player, just typed in lawn care podcast, noticed a couple came up, and saw yours was red and black. It kind of stood out a little bit, so I clicked it and, been hooked on it ever since. Other times, hey, I saw you from a Keith Kalfas YouTube video. You guys were talking about marketing or route density, and then I came over to your YouTube channel and found out you had a podcast, been hooked on the podcast ever since, and then came to Entrepreneur Academy Live, our live event that we do every November. And so it's kind of a smorgasbord, to be honest with you, if you guys will, with where people, quote unquote, come into the ecosystem, I like to call it. And so what I wanted to do, it's a little bit of a housekeeping slash take 10, 15 minutes to just get you guys to know who I am and where we're coming from, and just to introduce myself a little bit more. For some of you guys that are diehard listeners, you've listened to all 500-600 shows. Hey, really quick, let me just take 10, 15 minutes out for the new folks here and just kind of point them in the right direction. I just got back from Disney just the other day with my wife and two little kiddos. I've got a 2.5-year-old named Emmy and a 9, 10-ish month old named Crew. They're both growing like crazy. It's absolutely wild. Emmy is 2 going on 16, kind of a deal. She's the boss of the house. It's hilarious. And Crew is 9, 10 months of literal pure sunshine and joy and smileys and happy faces. The kid is always happy. It's actually phenomenal. It's the coolest thing ever. We're still recovering from my little girl, Peanut. She's awesome. She's amazing, but she is keeps us on our toes. And Crew is just along for the ride. It's hilarious. But when we went to Disney, the first thing they do when you walk in is 2 things. One, they give you a physical map of the location of the place of the Magic Kingdom. And then number 2, they say, hey, don't forget to download the Disney app so you guys can check out all the different parks, order food, do your virtual lines, get tickets and passes to the different special features and events and everything going around in the park. And I thought that was a really unique approach that, probably helps onboard and on-ramp a lot of people based on how many new visitors they probably get to the theme park. Different races, colors, creeds, religion, foreigners, domestic, Canada, Mexico, overseas, Australia, UK, China, everywhere, right? I mean, there's people from all walks of life. So you got to get these people up to speed. And so what I wanted to do is just give you guys a park map. I just wanted to let you guys download the app. I just wanted to let you guys know what we have available here, and in a short and sweet. And if you want to go down the rabbit hole of those pieces of content, I will invite you to check that out and all the information that we put out there to help you guys grow a more successful lawn and landscaping business. So let's do this really quick. We're going to hear from today's show sponsors and announcements, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about our ecosystem and where you guys can find more information about how to start and run a successful lawn and landscape business. Hang tight.
At Entrepreneur Academy, we believe in a community where success is amplified, not diminished, by helping others. Introducing the Entrepreneur Academy Link membership, your ticket to a thriving lawn care business. Join our exclusive Entrepreneur Academy Link Facebook group where like-minded entrepreneurs share insights, advice, and encouragement. It's not just a group, it's a family dedicated to your success. As a Link member, you'll enjoy monthly hangouts to connect with fellow lawn care professionals, bidding hour calls to sharpen your business acumen, and enlightening lessons from industry experts in our monthly guest expert series. And here's the icing on the cake, our monthly group coaching calls where your specific challenges are addressed and you receive personalized guidance to excel in your business. Yeah, there's more. Gain exclusive access to the lessons from Brian, the mastermind behind Launchpreneur Academy. With call records, PDF recaps, and more, you'll have a treasure trove of resources at your fingertips. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to revolutionize your lawn care business. Join Lawntrepreneur Academy Link membership today, and let's grow together. Visit lawntrepreneur.academy.com and sign up now, or use the link in the podcast description. Lawntrepreneur Academy Link, your link to success.
All right, guys, well, let's take a quick trip down memory lane, and I will just give you guys the abridged version about our content and what you guys can look forward to if you wanted to learn a little bit more from ourselves and all the great resources that we have out there about how to start a lawn and landscaping business and to really, level up and really pour gas in the fire if you guys are looking to win and grow in 2024. First off, if you guys are already in business, fantastic. We have a lot of great, quote unquote, like continuing education. That would be the podcast, the social media, the YouTube channel. That's where you can plug in and grow with us as we grow ourselves. And if you guys are brand new, we've got some other great resources that I would encourage you to check out first as you go down the rabbit hole of the rest of our content, right? Just to back up the train a little bit. And some of you guys, again, if you've heard our story before, maybe not the heaviest episode, check back tomorrow. I'm sure we'll have another great show for you here on Friday. And we'll, either grab you by the football helmet or we'll put our arm around the side of you and give you a side hug and say, hey, let's get back on the horse and get after it and get that motivation, that encouragement, and sometimes the, the brotherly love to say, hey, if we can do it, you can do it. But for those that are just getting started, let me just give you guys the 2 minute of my background. Long story short, was 18-year-old kid that was working at Little Caesars for about 3 or so years. Climbed from crew member to assistant manager to a co-manager, and then I was running my own store for about 18 months, making $40,000 a year back in 2003, 2004, 2005, I guess. And today's money, 60, 70, 80 grand, as a fast food restaurant manager, which is pretty typical for some of these corporate stores and franchisees. Actually got let go from that company. It was a wild little set of circumstances. I fought like hell to keep that job. But I 100% looking back on it, knew that God was moving me in the right direction to change careers, change paths with my life. And it's just like, some people say life doesn't make any sense going forward, but looking back on it, you can tell God's handprints and fingerprints, if you will, were all over your life. And I absolutely believe that. I actually was a store manager. So if you lose a job, I've asked this before, where do you look for the next thing? Your next job, you look for the job you just did or above, right? Nobody wants to go backwards on the totem pole. So I started scouring back then monster.com, if you remember, and I looked for store manager, route manager. And it was funny. The only things were coming up, I remember this vividly, was pilot gas stations, store managers, like off the highway. I don't know if they were just dumping a bunch of ads in there, or they had a bunch of people quit, or they were growing like crazy. I don't really know, but all I remember was seeing is, restaurant/gas station manager for pilot gas stations. And I thought to myself, probably don't want to do that. No shade on anybody if they've ever been there or done that. It just wasn't going to be for me. And then I saw, route manager at True Green ChemLawn. And I was like, well, I don't know what a True Green ChemLawn is, but let's go there and apply. And it was in the green industry. And I was excited about that because I had a stint in the green industry cutting grass. From age 10, 11-ish to about 15 or 16, I was out there with a little push mower, trailer park lawns, where I grew up in my mom's trailer. We had a 635 lot trailer park that we lived in. It was new, it was newer construction, it was fresh. The roads were freshly paved. The lawns were beautiful. The trailers were nice. It wasn't an 8 mile, trailer park. It was the Taj Mahal of trailer parks, which I still don't know what that means, but that was just the reality, all right? It was nice. And, as a kid, though, you don't know any different. You don't know any better. It was happy. We had a good childhood. We had a lot of fun. Tons and tons of kids, where young families were moving in there. And so we always had, 10, 20 kids every night playing football, soccer, baseball. What was ever on TV is the sport we were playing, that month, that quarter, right? And we had a ton of fun. And frankly, we played till 9, 10 p.m. every night until you heard either somebody's mom's whistle out the front door or when the street lights came on. Amen. And if you had a childhood like that in the 80s and 90s, you probably aren't confused about what gender you are. You know what I'm saying? That's funny right there. So that being said, it was a really, really good time, great childhood, but I was cutting grass. I was mowing lawns for $10, $12. I was like 60 pounds. I was a little dude, a little late bloomer. And, but you know what? Brian's Lawn Care was my meal ticket. And I was making $200 in a weekend, mowing 10, 15 lawns with a little push mower that I got from Big K or the Super K down the road. And, that was it. I was making some money to buy $5 Subway sandwiches and, some fireworks. And that was the dream. Well, then I go, like I said, I wanted to go get a real job, quote unquote. And so I went at Little Caesars, got fired from there, went to Trugan Chemlaw and did that for about a year. And I realized, this isn't exactly for me. I remember the day like it was yesterday. They had a lawn that I was pulled up next to. I was about to turn on the PTO engagement for the pump to go out there and spray a lawn that I was parked out front of. It was a $45 spray. I was making $11.55 an hour, trying to get back to that coveted $14, $15 an hour I was used to, that the big money. And I enjoyed the job for what it was worth. It was good sales training. It was good green industry training. I passed my test. I got like a 77 the first time I took it. You need a 75 for your 2A, 2B, whatever those tests are. A lot of you guys in the Fullerton Sport game know what I'm talking about. But I was a certified, full-blown green industry lawn and landscape technician. Okay, and I was ready to rock and roll. I really enjoyed selling. I really enjoyed making sales. I learned a lot about route density. I learned a lot about production. I asked thousands of questions, I'm sure, at that company, just because I'm an inquisitive type. And one thing that I remember is after a long couple of days or weeks when it was like 90 degrees, I'm wearing full pants, full shirt, socks, boots, Under Armour, so I don't drip sweat all freaking day, the heat Under Armour, whatever they call that. And, I'm wearing the gloves, the mask, the spill mask, with some of the different chemicals, no air conditioning in the trucks because Trugan wanted to save some money. And I'm thinking to myself, I can't do this long term. It's just not for me. I'm making $12 an hour. I was making 400 some bucks a week. I used to make that when I was 13, push mowing lawns on the weekend. There's got to be a better way. And I decided after what I call my Baywatch moment. And my Baywatch moment, I wrote about that in our book as the first chapter because it was such a pivotal point in my life when I decided to make a change and go into business for myself. Now, I had no idea what I was thinking. I had no idea what I was talking about. I had no clue about the industry. I had no clue about equipment. We did not have Instagram. We did not have podcasts. We did not have live events to be able to, start a business of your own. It was literally the good old throw mud up against the wall and sees what sticks. And today you got people that have access to all this information and they haul off and respectfully they do nothing. When 20 years ago, 10 years ago, a lot of guys were just getting started in brute force figuring it out. And that's how they were able to master the skill set. That's how they became mentally tough. That's how they became financially prudent. Versus today, everybody's got it all at their fingertips, but yet nobody wants to work hard. It's like the pendulum has swung. And so in our book, 0 to 100K, that first chapter was describing that moment when I was out front of that lady's lawn that I was about to go spray. And this, long story short, these two young kids showed up, and young kids, by the way, I was 19 myself, but these guys were 18, 19, 21, whatever they were. And they pulled up in a truck, and I remember it was a utility trailer, and they had a 0-turn mower. And frankly, they were across the street to go cut this lawn. Now, I don't know if what they were getting $25 or $50 or $100. All I remember is that these guys were in shorts, gym shoes. There was no Cujo yardwear shoes, right? They were in gym shorts, gym shoes, cut-off T-shirts. I remember one of them had headphones on, probably listening to, some good old 2001 Limp Bizkit, right? That was the ticket. They were just rolling and rolling and rolling, right? It's just really ridiculous. And I just remember watching them cut lawns. They mowed this whole lawn. Let's say it took them 20 minutes, cut, trim, blow, and edge, and they were cleaned up, and they were out of there and swigging a Gatorade. And I'm just like, dude, life just kind of slowed down. Like, it just, time froze. And the reason I call it my Baywatch moment is because back in the 80s or 90s, you had Pamela Anderson, I think it was, right? And some of these other folks, they were just, run slowly on the beach with their, glowing, skin and the sunbathe tan and the Australian gold, like tanning lotion was like big and all that stuff. If you guys ever went to tanning salons, you know. But, the guys and girls are just running slow on the beach and everybody's looking beautiful. And, back in the 80s and 90s, the ladies are looking beautiful because, you're 15 and that'll make a lasting impression. And I'm just thinking to myself, no homo, this is my Baywatch moment. These guys running around cutting this lawn. I'm thinking, dude, what the heck? I used to do that. I can do that. I'm going to do that, is what I thought. And so, anyway, fast forward, I got started with my lawn and landscape business. I remember getting a DBA. I remember buying my first Exmark mower on credit. Shout out to Sheffield Financial, right? Good old Sheffield. Zero down, $5,300 Exmark Viking walk behind mower. Today, that'd be like the Turf Tracer maybe. And I was in business. I went to Tractor Supply, bought a little $600, $800, whatever it was, little 5x8 mesh gate, mesh frame, mesh deck, utility trailer. I bought clearance, open, used, returned, secondhand, Craftsman, blower and edger and trimmer combos, from the Sears in Brighton, Michigan. That was on the corner of the big strip mall right at Grand River. If you know, you know. Okay, like the most humble beginnings ever. I didn't know you could buy edger blades in bulk at your dealer. I was paying $10 an edger blade at Home Depot retail instead of getting them for $1.50 at your dealer. I had no idea how to sharpen a lawnmower blade. I had no idea what was the best trimmer line. None of this stuff existed. We're talking 2005, 2006. Okay. But you know what? We figured it out. I was using my brother's Dodge Durango SXT. He left to go to college for 2 years. Freshmen, sophomores couldn't have vehicles on campus at Michigan State. So this thing was sitting around. I said, I'm going to commandeer your truck. 3-liter V8 Dodge SXT. This thing would suck down $20 of gas, $20 of gas a day. And this was back when gas was, like $2 a gallon, $1.50 a gallon, right? 06, 07, my first year and a half in business. I actually went to my second year at True Green for spray training, and they literally said, hey, we don't have a job for you anymore. And I said, that's preposterous. I work here. And they said, yeah, we replaced you. We thought you were going full time in that lawn care thing, which I was doing nights and weekends, right? And I said, oh, no. I still work here. And I had a positive attitude. I said, well, if you already got a guy for my truck, no big deal. Why don't you go ahead and put me in a different truck? Now, this is in 04, 05, 06, right? This is when you were interviewing for jobs and they had 9 people show up and they would pick one. It wasn't 2020 to 2023 where you had, employers begging you to sign up and giving you a $5,000 referral bonus or sign-on bonus if you stayed for 90 days. Give me a break. Okay, it was an entirely different world. So I was grateful for my job and I was needing my job. It wasn't like you had, you go down a tech drive these days to go bid a commercial site and you see 8 warehouses and 7 of them have a now hiring sign out front. It's a totally different world and totally different economy. Fast forward, I did not get to come back to that job. They let me go and I realized I needed to make a go of this thing. First year in business, we did about $20,000. Nothing to write home about. I was living at home. I'm 20 years old, cover my expenses. I do remember paying my lawnmower off in 5 months. I made a $1,750, a base payment for $200, and then I paid $3,000 off the next month, whatever it was. I know I did that really quick because I had some back unemployment that was paid out to me. And I got a little check, and I was just able to pay that thing off. And I was pretty much debt free from there forward. Okay. That was not the end of the story. Let me just phrase this and maybe point you in a direction if you want to hear a little bit more of this whole story. The book that we wrote called 0 to 100K is a book that I penned this same time last year. And that is the chronology of my first 10, 11-ish years in business. It took a grind. It took a decade to get to 100K in gross revenue where we're making net profit 30, 40, 50 grand. It was a lot harder than I ever thought. It was a lot harder than it needed to be. But you know what? In that book, it was parallel paths. Here's what we did. Here's what we did right. And then here's also here's what we did wrong. And then the credentialed, hey, let's how we fix this. So we talk about marketing, branding, getting customers, adopting our CRM, QuickBooks, banking, finding an insurance agent, a payroll company, a bookkeeper. We talk about right equipments to buy, right trailers to buy, right mowers to buy. We talk about CRMs. We talk about, production and how we actually get production numbers up and our pricing up so we can actually make real money with a small business. So that was a first resource that I want to share with you guys, our book 0 to 100K. And during this whole process, by the way, we kind of had Brian's Law Maintenance 2.0 that we'll dub that we started in 2016. Long story short, we started a YouTube channel. I'm not going to go into that whole story. You can listen to podcast episode 1 here on the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast and hear how we actually got started doing all this social media stuff. It was actually pretty wild. But 2016, I start making YouTube videos, trying to just share a little bit about my life, my story, my business. There's a whole story here, as you guys can imagine. But what I wanted to just say is that in 2016, 17, 18, and 19, my wife and I went a little over 100 grand in debt to reinvest into the business. We had a business that was on life support. We're freshly married and we want to move. We want to have kids one day. We were financially pretty destitute. We were living in a 700 square foot apartment that was $735 a month. Pretty small life, pretty small existence. And I had just spun the dream to my wife. I'm like, hey, if we reinvest in this company, we buy a new truck, we buy new trailers, we buy new mowers, we buy this enclosed trailer. Like, I really think we can make something of this thing and get this business at 200, 250 grand and maybe make $70, $80, $100,000 off this company. And that was really the story of Brian's Lawn Maintenance 2.0 from 2016, 2017, maybe until about 2000, 2001. And then two things happened at once. We finally got the company 3 or 4 years later, making some money. We paid off all of our debts. We kind of slingshotted forward and borrowed some money and were able to pay that off. And then we had a jamming business, hired a couple guys along the way. Still kind of glorified owner-operator, but we really got this thing up to speed. 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, summer of 2020, it took us 4.5, almost 5 years. We grew a YouTube channel to about 100,000 subscribers. Made no money along the way. Maybe got a free trimmer here or there, maybe a free leaf blower, no free mowers, no free trucks, no free trailers, none of that garbage. Most of our social media, quote unquote, revenue that we made for the company didn't really start kicking in until about late 2020 into 2021. We had a YouTube channel with about 80 to 100,000 subscribers that finally started making $1,000 plus a month. And I'm literally just being serious. The YouTube views for a lawn care channel, it's not like a Logan Paul or a Whistling Diesel or, Rhett and Link or, some of these tech review guys. It's nothing like that. We were getting a couple 100,000 subs, but social media really started to grow for the green industry. And a lot of people were taking off in 2020, 2021, 2022. People were watching a bunch of videos during, the pandemic. Everybody's figuring out how to DIY their own stuff as everybody's inside, locked down, or working from home. So the channel really did start to take off. And a lot of people were getting in business for themselves. Affiliate links started to really start moving some sales, and we get a kickback on some of that stuff, go figure. We started a training company called Launchpreneur Academy in 2019, 2020 that really started to hit the ground running, teaching the basics of how to, start a green industry business, which is resource number 2 I wanted to share with you. Launchpreneur Academy, that's where all of our actual resources we use in our real life lawn landscape business, doing 370 grand last year, by the way, up 100 grand year over year. Not too bad for a guy who only worked in the field 5 days last year. Pretty proud of that, as you guys can imagine. Very proud of my guys even. Go figure. But that all the contracts, all the documents, all the resources, our employee application, our employee handbook, snow contracts, lawn care contracts, landscaping contracts, bid form and estimate sheets, resumes, all of our postcard designs, our EDDM designs, our door hanger designs, all of that, and of course the courses on how to, do mulch and aeration, more meat and potatoes than like the YouTube videos. That's all at launchpreneuracademy.com. And since then, we've had, thousands of people go through, that resource and take advantage of those documents for $50, $100, $200, $400, $1,000, $1,500, and absolutely turn them into tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions of dollars worth of business. I'm really, really proud of those resources. So if you're just getting started, we don't have a franchise. There's no franchise fee. You can, build your lawn and landscape business nights and weekends and on a shoestring budget with the resources that we put out there. And by the way, if you want to take your company from 50 grand, 100 grand, 250 grand, 300 grand, and you want to go to $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, nothing we teach will confuse you or get you in the way of growing and graduating from our content to that next level by any way, shape, or form. It's all very conservative. It's fiscally conservative. It's business mindset in many regards. And nothing there is going to mess you up as you grow. We won't get you to a certain level and then you'll fall back and then you have to sell a bunch of stuff or feel like a loser. It's nothing like that. It's very steady Eddie. We will not tell you how to 10x or 100x your life over a year. I am a slow and steady wins the race kind of a guy. And if you just get 1% better every day for a couple of years, in a couple of years, your life will be transformational. And frankly, it won't even be recognizable to your older self. So I think life and business is a marathon, not a sprint. And so in that regard, our content's going to be very, very simple, very, very simple by design. Okay. Now, that being said, we have the 0 to 100K book. We have the Launchpreneur Academy. Along the way in 2020, a lot of people were saying, hey, podcasting is a big thing. A lot of people are on their mowers 6, 8, 10, 12 hours a day. We're snow plowing 10, 20 hours straight. You should make a podcast, get some guests on and, get some interviews going. And podcasting was really becoming a big deal. because Gary Vee was talking about that on TikTok. Well, I don't have time to dance, in my living room and make TikToks. I run, 2 businesses. I have a growing family. My wife and I are, trying to grow our company so we can afford our new construction home that we wanted to build, our dream home. We just bought land in 2019. I didn't have time to dance around in my underwear like half the internet. So we actually decided to start the podcast. The Fullerton Unfiltered podcast that you guys are listening to has a variety of shows, right? There are how-tos, there's some, business mindset, there's guest interviews, there's roundtable discussions. We do a little bit of everything to kind of keep it original, but also keep it fun and exciting. Again, this thing's going on its 4th year. And so we've hit the ground running. We've caught our stride, but I always want to do my best to keep the content fresh. That being said, 600 plus episodes, a little bit of everything from how to get commercial clients, how to deal with difficult employees, motivational and success stories from you guys that are guests on the interviews. And of course, business mindset from so many of you guys that have, shared and poured into the show. Of course, we have DIY, how to do certain aspects of the business on your own. And then we also have guest interviews coming on from professionals in the industry, from our bookkeeper and our CPA and our marketing folks and our website developers, and how we've built our company. And those folks are tremendous resources in the industry, right? So we've had the 0 to 100K book, Launchpreneur Academy, the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast, 600 plus episodes, and I don't even know how many downloads, almost 3 million downloads, which is pretty wild for a lawn care podcast. And it's been pretty consecutively in the top 200 of all shows, not for lawn care, but I mean for entrepreneurship on the top 200 list. You go to chartable.com, check rank history, and you can see our stats. I don't make any of this stuff up. We have tread, in the top 8. We've normally hovered in the 50 to 100s. And in the summertime, we're, pretty regularly in the top 100. And that's because of you guys. It doesn't do anything for me. I don't get paid anymore if the show gets higher views or less views. I guess I could charge more to our sponsors, but we shoestring budget the podcast. Hint, hint. I don't think we're making $100,000 on the podcast, if you know what I'm saying. This is still a labor of love, just so you guys know. So the least you guys can do, if you don't mind me asking, is hitting the thumbs up, hitting the shares, hitting the likes, engaging, leaving a comment. You guys know how it helps the algorithm on all the different platforms. Leave us a rating review. That stuff goes a long way. That's what you can do actively to reciprocate. And we always thank you guys for that stuff. So that being said, we've got the 0 to 100K book. We've got the YouTube channel. We've got Launchpreneur Academy. We've got the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. And more recently, something that I'm really excited about, and this is the last thing I'll leave you with, outside of course, following us on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, we have our newest community membership. And I'm not going to do a huge pitch here because the people that are part of the boat, part of the ship, part of the crew, they've always heard me promote it a bunch of times. If you've heard me promote it a bunch of times and you still haven't joined, maybe I do need to promote it one more time to you because you're missing out. You're missing out and you're missing the boat. And if you're new, you get a pass because you don't know what you don't know. But I will tell you, if you've been listening to the show for the last couple of months and you guys have heard me promote the Facebook group, Link, L-I-N-K, our private Facebook group and community, I'm telling you, you're missing out because the conversations in there are helping people grow. And the people in that group know things that you don't know. They're sharpening their sword. They're learning from other peers in the industry. It is a private Facebook group. It's $29 a month. You got to be kidding me. I think your Netflix subscription costs more these days. It used to be like $10. Now it's like $30 a month. And they still play ads, by the way, which is ridiculous. Okay, $30 a month. I think most folks listening to the show probably spend more on fast food, double meat Chipotles, or Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me a break. You guys spend more money on fast food and eating out than you will in your own education. Some of you guys spend more money on gym memberships and you don't even go. That's funny right there, okay? And I've done that too. But give me a break. If you guys want to grow, if you want to get around peers, if you guys want to compare notes and join in the 4 monthly live streams that we do on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, including one a month that usually is a guest interview from somebody who has a 3, 5, 10 plus $1 million company. I'm telling you, you are missing the biggest thing that we are doing right now in 2024 in terms of meat and potato content. If you're like, Fullerton, I love the podcast. Man, I love watching your Instagram posts. You inspire the snot out of me. Man, Fullerton, give me the sauce on the podcast. It's Monday, 7 a.m. Let it rip. I got a big day ahead of me. I hope you can just numb my brain out for 30 to 45 minutes because it's going to be a long freaking day. I got to double up my yards because we got rain over the weekend and I got a 12-hour day on Monday. Bro, I love you. I care about you. I will bring the heat. We will make it rain. But I'm telling you, that is still baby food compared to the stuff that we're sharing in Entrepreneur Academy link. I'm just telling you, it's real time helping you guys grow. We're talking CRMs, we're talking marketing, we're talking business advice, we're talking right equipment to buy, next things to buy, how people are moving through bottlenecks and choke points in their business. And if you have real questions and you're trying to grow, and I don't care if it's how to sharpen a lawnmower blade to, hey, I've got an employee that stole something and what do I do to reprimand him? We'll cover everything from there in between and that much more. And so here's the final leg that I'll just land this whole airplane on is, as Liz and I have grown our company, we've shifted gears the last 6 months. Our big thing the last couple of years was to save a boatload of cash, Brian's Law Maintenance 2.0. We want to build our house and build our barn. We're in the process of doing that right now. Hallelujah. Praise Jesus. Thank the Lord. I will tell you, right now we are excited about shifting gears and growing Brian's Law Maintenance into a much larger company. Okay, we've been playing chess. A lot of people are out there playing checkers. My wife and I, we like to play chess. And I know a lot of you guys love playing chess as well. I'm not going to sit here and profess about all the exciting things that we are planning to do. What I'll do is document what I'm doing day by day over the next 12, 18, 24, 36, 48, 60 months. And I will just let my actions speak louder than words. But we're excited about growing a much larger company, making a huge dent, building a large regional company. Okay, we want to make a dent in the universe that way. That's the stuff that I'm documenting and sharing in the link membership, as much as everybody else part of that group as well is documenting their growth as well. It's an esprit de corps. Okay, it's all of us winning together. That's what that group is for. And so as Liz and I kind of shift gears into what we're kind of dubbing Brian's Law Maintenance 3.0, this is where we take the company from 300-400 grand in revenue to $1 million, to $2 million, to $5 million, to $10 million over the next handful of years. Okay, we've made some big shifts and switches over the last couple of weeks and couple of months. We've got a lot of other big changes coming in the next couple of months. We're getting our feet grounded and we're building the foundation to be able to grow a big business in 2025, 26, 27, 28. Okay, that's the next 4 or 5 year plan that we've got. We're super excited about executing on that. Okay, so all that being said, if you guys are brand new here, that's the whole ball of wax, baby. We are helping you guys get started from 0 to 100K. I've been there, done that. I did it for 17 years. I can help you guys smoke that, okay? If you want to make $250,000, 300, 400 grand, I can help you do that as well. And if you guys are getting a larger company, in your mind and in your heart and in your desires, hey, let's win and grow together. And I'll be able to share and compare notes with you as you can share your notes with me, part of Entrepreneur Academy link, okay? So that being said, check out the book. Check out the Instagram, check out the Facebook page, check out the TikTok, check out the YouTube channel. Check back here Monday, Wednesday, Friday for new podcast episodes. Check out Entrepreneur Academy Live. Oh, also our live events that we have every November. If you guys want to pencil in on your calendar November 2nd, little save the date, November 2nd, LAL 2024. It's our live event. Had just about 400 people there last year. Absolutely wild. You guys heard that replay with Sam just a couple of days ago. The whole replay will be available. I think it's $75, which is a ridiculous deal. It's worth $5,000 if you ask me. That's going to be available here mid-month, so make sure you guys check out that. If you're part of the whole ball of wax, by the way, free lifetime updates and upgrades, you guys get access to everything new that we bring down the pike, including the whole replay that we're going to have from LAL 2023 and all the great speakers that were there to share, okay? So that being said, that's our ecosystem. That's the breadth of what we have going on. The last thing I'll say is thank you guys for the love. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you guys for showing up. Thank you for always praying over and praying on Liz and myself and our family. Thank you guys for blessing us. Thank you for the encouraging words. Even if I don't get to have as many conversations with you guys because there's one of me and tens of thousands of you guys. It's just, I never expected that when I did social media. I never was the guy trying to do social media. I'll be honest with you. It's hard for me to engage hundreds and thousands of you guys day to day. If you shoot me a message on Instagram, I'm the one that answers back and I do it within 24 hours. That's my rule. Answering hundreds of DMs a day, mind you. But if you guys need help, shoot me a DM. If you guys need help, shoot me an email, brianslawmaintenance2007@gmail.com. I'm always here for you guys to help you grow. But all that being said, if you guys ever want to reciprocate with using a promo code or checking Brian's 10 on a website where you can save 10% and we get a little kickback on the end, or you guys can share the podcast or tag us on something, or you guys stick up for us anytime our name starts getting thrown through the mud. That goes a long way, and I super appreciate you guys showing love and just appreciating what we're putting out there, for crying out loud. Okay. This is a lot of love, a lot of labor of love, if you will, going out there. We've been very, very blessed the last couple of years because of it. But I'll tell you what, I can't thank you guys enough for all the support, because who would have thought? I guess at the end of the day, who would have thought? So that being said, those are all the resources that we have out there. I'm sure there's a bunch more that we've put out there in the ecosystem. Maybe we'll do a little follow-up or something like this on this podcast episode. Who knows? Maybe there'll be some more books coming down the pike or something like that you guys can plug into and listen to and read as you guys want to continue your education and your growth as well. All right. That's what I got for you guys in today's podcast episode. I thought it'd be timely and a very candid conversation about where we came from, where we're at, and where we're going. I think that can really help a lot of people out. And again, welcome to the jungle. Appreciate you guys listening in. That's what I got for you guys on today's podcast episode. All right, let's kick it back over to Marty, Mr. Producer, to wrap this thing up. And guys, we look forward to catching up with you guys here on the next one.
Before you turn off the podcast, there are two things that we believe you will be highly interested in. First, if you're looking to stay up to date with the latest trends and insights in the world of lawn care, then you'll want to subscribe to our free email newsletter. It shows up in your inbox 3 times a week and includes a Monday motivational to kick off your week, a Wednesday what's new to keep you informed, and a Friday weekly recap of all the content we put out. The second thing is we have just launched Lawntrepreneur Academy Link. Now you can be a part of an exclusive community that links you to those who can help you grow in your lawn care business. Joining Lawntrepreneur Link will give you the tools that you need to stay accountable, get real-time expert advice, and find belonging in a community of folks who are passionate about the lawn care industry just like you. Visit LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com to learn how Link membership gives you unique access to monthly hangouts, bidding hour calls, coaching calls, expert lessons, and more. Stay ahead of the curve and level up your business with a membership to the Lawntrepreneur Academy Link. Find an easy-to-use link in the podcast description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.